All right, now, even though it is 2021, the show is a 2022 season, so everything is kind of labeled as such. So I'll just talk a little bit while we're waiting for that to kind of boot up
Show
here.
reveals 2020. Dang it. Minecraft. He contacted C418.
Yeah!
Yes!
So I think you guys like kind of going through the iterations of how we like kind of find, our music. And in the past, we've come up with it so many different ways. Sometimes we find a uniform that we like first. Sometimes it's like a piece of music. Sometimes it's like a prop thing. And this year it was, I don't know. I think we started out going down the same avenue that we went down the last couple years. So one of my goals was to see us be musically different than every group at WGI. And so the last couple years we started to do, like classical music and not do it kind of arranged. And what we mean by that is we wanted to try to stay as close to the source material as possible. So if you were to go and watch a symphony orchestra and hear exactly how they played it, obviously they don't have a drum line. Okay, they're not playing it all on percussion instruments, but essentially it's going verbatim. All right, it takes them 7 minutes to play from here to here. It took us 7 minutes to play from here to here, which is not the usual in this activity. In this activity, a lot of times you get a lot of different ideas, okay, like 3 or 4 different songs or pieces, and you chop them up, and then you create one medley from there. Okay, so just the fact that we were sticking with one piece already made us unusual. And then usually what you would do is you would take a giant work, and you would chop that up and take your favorite places from that. And we weren't really doing that. We were trying to do something totally different and just not chop it up. We would just pick a section of it and just play it, exactly as you would hear it in the symphony. So, we started out with that idea again, and we were kind of running with that. But we didn't really find anything that was necessarily okay, this is a home run like we did the last couple years. But I still wanted that kind of idea. So we looked for some different type of music. So, the thought was thrown out hey, we sound really good when we take chamber music, okay? Not a full symphony, but a smaller work written for less instruments, and maybe a percussion ensemble that would easily lend well for us to make an arrangement of our setup with that. So then we started looking at new music. And we came up with this piece. I won't say it yet, but this piece is really cool. Now, you've heard the first couple minutes of our show, right?
Yes.
So I think that we're all heavily intrigued. Did anyone Spotify it and figure it out?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll explain more about that later. So they did. See, look at that. Then I thought it might be obscure enough that you couldn't find it. But anyway, so that's sort of where we came up with the show concept. Once we went down the music route, we found some music that we liked. And went, okay. And then we found some other cool things that we might, go in. Okay, so you're thinking, what is happening with that? Or is this just some crap that Mr. Hodgson put out on a slide? Who knows? All right. So let's talk about the tart.
Oh.
No tart!
Yeah!
So, that is a black background because that's what our tarp's going to look like. So, if you're new, what happens is you go to a show and there's already a black tarp at every show that IPA has. And then we go to WGI, they put down a black floor. So, I really liked that last year. I don't know about anyone else. Made setup and tear down a lot easier. So, somehow we'll figure out how to do that again. But we're going to go with no tarp. Okay? All right. Yes. But we'll have some different objects on the floor, just like last year. That'll help us kind of make a grid out of it and figure out a way we're going to march on this giant open space. Okay? But what was cool last year, I found, is when we weren't rehearsing in a gym, we got so used to being able to do our show anywhere. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought last year was the easiest that we ever went out to the parking lot and practiced our show out in the parking lot, okay, and other places. So I can just imagine when we do go to WGI and we're trying to find ways to practice our show outside, not having a tarp is like a huge benefit because it's super easy to just set up anywhere and use our own grid. Okay, what did I even put next? Who knows? Uniform ideas. Whoa. I will say this.
Is it a skin suit or is it
So,
a
once we came up with the idea that we wanted to go with the black tarp again, then we said, all right, what can we do uniform-wise that would be a good color match for a black tarp that would make sense? And this year, we're going to go white.
Oh, it's so dirty.
Now, it won't be all white, but it'll be like different gradients of white. And then we're going to have some pop by using like chrome in the uniform. So you get this kind of metallic look. And then,
They're gonna need to wash that.
you know, we'll probably have it where we're still going to wear black shoes. Probably like we're going to design the uniforms to have like a scaled down to gray, down to dark black to your
that would be
shoes,
cool.
like starting from like your knee. So you'll kind of like fade into the floor. But it'll be
That'd
like
be
whites,
cool.
creams, and chrome colors that are going to pop on a black floor. Okay? Now,
Hey, yo. Whoa.
it won't necessarily be that exact image, but this idea that, and it'll make more sense when I say exactly what the show idea is for you, but we're probably going to be
It's
covering your
spaces.
face. You'll see through,
spaces.
you know, like two-way glass, or in that case, just like a mirror image. But it'll be kind of this modern, like weird, you know, uncomfortable look when you see us and you stare and you can't see your face. Now, it might not be like that the whole show. These next two are they're just ideas. I don't have the uniform like ready to show you yet. It's not all sketched out. This next one, imagine this was like, hey, imagine that was like whites, chromes, that kind of thing. But what I
just
like
inverted?
about that is like it's got cool textures.
Inverted?
We're gonna try to get into the uniform. I really do want to have like, what is it? Like a cloak. Would be-
Oh.
Now I think what's gonna happen. I think the cloak is gonna be black.
Oh, okay.
And it'll be like long cloak that goes down. So when you guys turn around, you know, and your legs are already like faded to black, you got a long
Bet.
cloak, you can
New
kind of like
visual.
disappear in the
Tristan.
floor. And
New
then, like,
visual
turn
already.
around,
We
it's
need
like
to do
a
a spin.
color change. So we can do some cool stuff
Yeah,
there.
we're doing a spin.
This next one, for you MCU fans, I just threw it in here because I liked it. And it kind of has the cloak look, but your uniform's not going to look like this. But I put it in here anyway. So that's Ghost from the MCU. So just something where it's just like a weird, like you can't see the face, but there's kind of a hood and a cloak on there. And that's a little closer to the color scheme.
Okay.
So whatever, we'll mix those three together, and the uniforms are going to be cool. That's all I can tell you. Okay? So we're going to get them from the same place we got them last year, and Adam, our guard director, is helping us out a lot on making sure we get that. So something like that. Also, you know that fabric we've tossed around. I don't know if this will make it in or not, but you know the fabric where you can like change the colors.
Oh.
Could be something where it's like chrome and black.
Okay. Okay. Bet.
Music.
Oh.
All right, so I'm gonna play just a little bit of this. Let's see. The music, the source material is No Uncertain Terms by Nico Mooley. Some of you figured that out. This right here, I'm not gonna play all of it because it's kind of long. This was like the cut that we sent to Dave with the section of the music that we wanted to play, and you can kind of hear some of what we had in there already. you can hear some different parts of it that are fun that will be picked up later. Let's skip towards the end. Maybe you want to hear a little bit at the end here. You guys that found it, did you listen to the whole piece?
Yes.
Pretty cool, right?
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what Dave does with that. Now, so we're going to keep the Franklin Central Percussion Symphony. And even though it's not like a symphony orchestra, it still has that kind of vibe to it. We're playing, you know, music that's just about being good at music. It's not like a pop tune. You know, you're not going to hear it on the radio or write lyrics to it, all this stuff. It's you know, some serious art music. And so we're going to keep that moniker. Now, you know, I couldn't completely get it to where, hey, we're just going to play 6 minutes of this. It's not exactly like that. You'll notice, like, that's 8 minutes long. That's what we sent to Dave, and he's got to even trim that down a little bit to get it to, like, our show length. But for the most part, we're playing massive sections of it. We're doing just one piece. I know nobody else is going to do it. So we are going to sound way different, which is going to be cool. And it'll set us apart when we get out there to nationals and we're playing, and they hear, like, group after group after group, and then us will be like, well, that's different. So hopefully that's a good thing. If you guys play it well, it will be. Now, let's go on. You want to know a little bit about the props?
Yeah.
The props are really cool, at least the idea, the technology is. I just put a little video in here.
Smart windows.
You gotta have an imagination to see the beauty of it. That's really cool. We're going to have 12 panels like Beneath the Surface. Has anybody seen the Beneath the Surface show? Yeah. The first time we ever were in world class, which is really cool. So if you haven't seen it, go see that. But we'll have something similar to that where we're gonna have these like panels that are gonna be, you know, moved around on the floor. But each one of them has the ability to be clear, or it can be a wall at the push of a button. Okay, and so there's going to be parts like in the music where we're like picking up different accents and they're turning on and off, and like as it like turns off, you can't see through it, and then it's like maybe you're in some crazy pose, and the next time it's turned on, it's like all of a sudden, you know, it's like, whoa, how'd they get there? Where they're doing that, and then it goes away, and somebody else is there, and we have all sorts of like crazy different things that we can do, but essentially, 12 of you are going to be like the masters of that. Okay. It doesn't mean that you're going to only be behind a prop the whole show, but the cool thing about these props that are very different from props that we've had in the past is like, even if you are behind it, it doesn't matter, because at any moment, boom, it's clear and you're a performer and we can see you. So everybody will get plenty of, you know, show time. It's gonna be awesome. Okay? But anyway, but that's a big deal. That is very expensive in the United States, way too expensive. I'd have to raise your fees like 3 times in order to afford that, but over in China, we can get a pretty good deal.
Yeah! Yeah, China.
Okay,
What did you say?
so you want to know the show? Yeah. But I do want to talk about it just a little bit. So we're going to use our music. Okay, no uncertain terms. That's the name of the show, and I want to read a little bit of something from you guys, for you guys. Excuse me. This is the forward of the actual music. I had it all queued up, and then someone had to text me and mess this up. Okay, so shh. Here's what's going on. Okay, so no uncertain terms, and this is in Nico Muhly's, his write-up of the piece, is dedicated to Steve Reich and is meant to be a sort of archive of the ways his music has influenced mine. Now, does anybody know Steve Reich? Okay, so he's a famous composer, and he's really, one of the fathers like percussion, minimalism. I would have better things to say, but anyway, Nico Muhly he's in this minimalistic tree. So you have Steve Reich, you have Philip Glass. You guys heard of Philip Glass? Maybe?
No,
Okay.
it's
Real
a
famous
metaphorical.
composer. And Nico Muhly is his protege. He's a student of Philip Glass. Anyway, so he's kind of this up and coming, new musician that's starting to become really popular. Anyway, so this is basically a dedication to Steve Reich, who's one of the forefathers of the minimalistic movement. Okay, so he says, influence in classical music can be deployed in various ways, not all of them complementary. We like to imagine or resist an itinerary from Mozart through Beethoven to Romantics, but in the 20th century, the giants of classical music started speaking languages entirely of their own. Even though its influences can be traced back scientifically, listening to the first 5 seconds of Reich's music for 18 musicians tells the listener this is a new piece with a new tongue. So, No Uncertain Terms starts with a direct ripoff of those 5 seconds and then explodes into a gallery of my own obsessions. A constantly recycling harmonic pattern, widely spaced chords with clear or very opaque pulses, sometimes at the same time. String writing that employs a very Reichian non-vibrato juxtaposed with romantic over-expression, and an ecstatic canon built on a single chord. Through this, 2 phrases from William Byrd's Civitas become present. One of the phrases built on the word Zion deserta facta, Zion wasted and brought low, in a more poetic translation, is a vertical chorale with an outlandish and surprising chord in it. The other borrowed tune, which has been the idea fixed throughout my whole musical life, sets the text Jerusalem desolata facta est and is linear, yearning, plangent phrase. Okay. Anyway, I know that's a lot of over-the-head stuff, but that's okay. At the center of this piece is an ecstatic statement of the 14 chords that govern the harmonic language of the piece, but completely off the grid and slightly terrifying. The piece ends with a sequence of pulses fading in and out. The music is designed to expose, in no uncertain terms, how important Steve's music in my own life and work are. Nico Muhly. So, it's essentially basically a love letter to Steve Reich saying, you've influenced me, I love your music so much, I made this composition, endearment of, how much you have influenced my life. So, in no uncertain terms, when we think about that in a business arrangement, it means it's very clear. That's the idea, is clarity. There is no uncertain terms. Nothing is uncertain. Everything is clear. So that's why we've got a lot of this that we're going to be playing around with clarity. So things throughout time are going to be going from unclear to very clear. No uncertain terms. So we're going to play around with that with the props, with the uniforms, with our drill, with the music. Things are going to be, getting to the point where hopefully by the end it goes from mass up to very fine focus. That kind of makes sense? Yeah. So it'll be really cool. Anyway, now we had gotten more music, but I've gotten even more than that. So you probably haven't heard this yet. You ready? Yep. Yeah, and just in case you're wondering, everything in that last phrase there was a 5. Okay. Tenors, everything.
Oh.
Did Josh already spill the beans? Yeah. Of course he did. Everything is 1/8 note off. It's gonna be crazy. I don't know how we're gonna play any of it, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, it's cool stuff. You guys excited?
Yeah!
All right. Sorry to hold you over a little too long. We're one more audition left. If you don't know where you stand, please come talk to me before you leave, so you can at least have an idea of like what maybe you should definitely focus on for the last audition if you haven't been given a spot yet. Okay. That'll be the name of the game. At the end of Thursday, like we'll be able to say this is the group. Cool. All right. So hopefully you're having fun. Good work. Come talk to me if you need to. Otherwise, I'll see you guys Thursday.
Woo!